When it comes to improving your life, what are the goals you set for yourself to help you get there? So you want to lose weight? Well, how much have you learned about how your body uses fat? Or what foods suit your particular makeup? Or how much and what type of exercise you need to do to start shedding those pounds? Or maybe you're trying to hit that new personal best in the gym. But when was the last time you assessed how much your biomechanics or flexibility are limiting your potential? Or whether or not that protein shake is helping you or actually slowing your progress down? Maybe you just want to feel better. But have you invested the time into learning about yourself, your habits, your allergies, your sleep routines, even your bowel movements? Improvement is possible and achievable for everyone, from the average person just looking for healthy living to the elite athlete chasing that Olympic record. But as my guest today, Eoin Lacey, explains, you need to know exactly what it is you want, and you have to set yourself out a detailed plan for getting there. With the huge amount of information available today on nutrition, strength and conditioning, supplementation, medicine and so-called biohacking, it can be very difficult and confusing sometimes to build that plan effectively, and even to know where to start. Eoin has spent his life studying the human body and gathering information from top experts in the field to help people understand and achieve their goals using a highly personalised and evidence-based approach. As co-founder and director of the Irish Strength Institute and a prevalent figure on the talks and seminar circuit for nutrition, fitness, health and wellness, Eoin has helped and empowered countless numbers of people to achieve their own goals. And he explains to me today how he approaches the obstacles and challenges people experience every day when it comes to improving your life. I was really looking forward to having Eoin on the podcast, and he definitely didn't disappoint. So get your notepad out for this one. Enjoy the podcast, guys. This is a podcast about finding answers to human questions, taking control and feeling good. This is the Human Regeneration Project. Okay guys, welcome back to the podcast. I am here today with Eoin Lacey from the Irish Strength Institute. Eoin, thanks a million for coming in.
No problem, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Eoin, just to give people a bit of background into yourself first before we start, so they know who we're talking to. I know myself, obviously director and co-founder of the Irish Strength Institute. A lot of experience and history with strength and conditioning, nutrition training, things like that. You also do a lot of seminars, a lot of talking worldwide, but you have a specific interest, I know, in functional medicine as well, regenerative medicine. So a wide kind of range of topics really that you have experience in. For people who might not be so familiar with you or the Irish Strength Institute, would you mind giving us just a little bit of background into yourself?
Right, well first of all, I started my career off managing gyms. So I was in on the management team of two of the biggest gyms in Ireland at one point. And what I found was in gyms, commercial gyms, all they're focused on is membership. And when you're training clients, you're not getting results because you have to follow the gym program or the class structure or whatever it is. People aren't getting results. So I ended up leaving the gym from the management team, and I set up the Irish Strength Institute with a colleague of mine, John Connor. Now, it was purely set up from a pure selfish point of view. So the Irish Strength Institute was set up to run seminars initially. So we didn't have a gym. So we were freelancing from other gyms. And what we did was we brought doctors over from the States, from all over the world to learn from them. So they were very expensive. So what we did was we'd host seminars to basically fund to pay for these guys to come over. And we ran a lot of them actually just up the road in the Grand Hotel. So we started running them courses in 2003. So then what happened was we were learning all this stuff on strength and conditioning, rehabilitation and really advanced stuff, and then we had nowhere to practice it. So then we said, well, we might as well open a centre. So we went around the States, we went around Australia looking at the best performance centres. Then we just said, we'll take this from this centre, this from this centre, and we'll open up a performance centre in Ireland and use all the skills that we've been learning from these guys. And then what we did was we started to run more and more courses. Then at one point, one of the guys I brought over, Charles Polican, he said, look guys, you really know this content, will you help me put it together as a course? So then we travelled around with him for around 9 years teaching this strength and conditioning certification course with him. But in the meantime, we had this really advanced gym that we weren't really devoting a lot of time to because we were travelling so much. So then we sort of stopped the travelling teaching for Charles, and then we focused on developing our own gym and spreading the word of strength and conditioning, of functional medicine, of rehabilitation, because the problem is when you're in a government organisation, your ability to change is quite restricted. So at one point I was looking after the Paralympic Council of Ireland cerebral palsy soccer team, which was quite unusual. And I tried to look up what sort of S&C you could do for someone with cerebral palsy, and what is out there you could write in the back of a match. There's literally nothing. So then for me, it was a trial and error. So I was contacting guys from all over the world to find out what is the best way to train someone with cerebral palsy. So for us then, we were able to have a bit of a niche market, because we could change, we could learn very easily. So let's say you want to do a course and you're with the government, you have to put a tender forward actually to do a seminar or try to get funding. For us, we just said, no, we'll take the money out and go and do it. So having a small business and having a niche business, we were able to expand very fast. So we have 6 locations now, but we have an ability to add services, add float tanks, add bumper plates, add different rigs, add different machines that other places mightn't see the value in it, but because our market was so small and unique, we could do anything we wanted.
Brilliant, yeah. We were chatting just before we went live here, and I was laughing because I've heard you tell that story before on another podcast, and it was kind of, it reminds me of why I wanted you to come onto this podcast in the first place, is that obviously I work here with Dr. Sam in a regenerative clinic in Malahide, but personally I have a huge interest in kind of the modern form of strength and conditioning and stuff like that, and I know a lot of people, kind of my peers, would as well. So to get you on here talking about this stuff is really to feed me, to feed my knowledge base more than anything. But it's a great story, and it kind of leads into the first topic I want to touch on. Really, is we get a lot of questions nowadays. I do as well. My background is in athletic therapy, so not so much strength and conditioning, but I would have a small bit of knowledge around the subject. But because I have a small bit of knowledge, people assume you know everything, and guys come to me and they ask me about injury management or strength and conditioning or nutrition, and there's so much information available now online, which is a bit of a double-edged sword, because some of that information is excellent. There's a lot of good podcasts, there's obviously institutes like yourself as well, but there's a lot of bad information, and sometimes there's just too much information. So for people who kind of, I know you work with everybody from your kind of your average Joe who wants to kind of get off the couch and lose weight, to your elite athletes and everything in between. But if we're looking at more the kind of the average kind of fitness enthusiast, you want to call it, so the day-to-day guy or girl who works a normal 9-to-5 job, but then likes to do maybe their triathlon or play a bit of Gaelic football or a bit of rugby. For someone like that, like, what kind of advice would you give? Where do you start with this stuff? There's so much stuff in terms of nutrition, one, with all this ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting. There's so many different programs you can find on bodybuilding.com and all these different ones for building muscle or getting fitter. What kind of advice do you give to someone who just wants to get started? Like, they just want to kind of take the next step forward with their training?
Well, the first thing I try to get across to every athlete, so whether it's an athlete or a Joe Soap or an executive coming in, why are you coming to the gym? So we have a principle in the gym, we call it the GTI principle, and the first G stands for goal. So what's your goal? Are you coming to drop 10 kilos? Are you coming to make your biceps bigger? Are you coming to make yourself a better football player? Are you coming to make yourself better, improve your fitness for the Gale Force or for a triathlon? So first of all, you're training, and just so you know, it doesn't have to necessarily be a specific goal, as in you have to be fitter. It could just be, I want to feel better, and that's okay too. So when your goal is just improve your well-being, you can sort of do any training you want. If you want to improve fitness, body composition, you want to improve someone's posture, you want to improve someone's strength, you want to improve someone's athleticism, you need to test something. So let's say, for example, someone comes in, they want to improve their fitness. Well, fitness for what? To box, to skip, to run, to cycle. So then I'd like to say to people all the time, you've only got one arse, you can't sit on 2 horses. So make a decision on what you want. So if you want to improve your running, guess what you do? You time yourself running. You might get someone to look at your biomechanics, because if you're, and I see people, and you must see it the same way. In college, I studied physical therapy for 3 years in Milltown, and our posture professor said, oh, and you have to become a posture pervert. And actually, I was halfway there myself anyway, but when you assess people and you see people's knees and ankles and hips, you're like, man, you shouldn't be running.
You shouldn't be walking.
you should be sitting down. Yeah. So for me, I like to say, you need a bit of an MOT. So before you go off and you rally a car, you need to get it checked out. So for me, be specific about what you want to do. If it's just well-being, that's okay. But if there's any real main driving force, find out a goal. Then have someone assess you. The reason I say be assessed, get some sort of test done, because there's 2 things that stop everyone's progress in the gym, is illness and injury. And unfortunately, people are going into the gym and pushing their bodies to do stuff that their body isn't able to do just yet. So there's always levels of progression and regression. But people are going in and they're squatting. These guys can't, like, their biomechanics, their range of motion, their stability isn't there yet. They're going to do more damage than good. And unfortunately now in Ireland, it's trendy to be healthy. Just so you know, it's trendy to be healthy. So people are joining gyms for €20 a month, but there's no assessment, there's no program, there's no evaluation, there's no monitoring, there's no supervision. And that is good because the gyms are cheaper and more attainable for a lot of people, but there's no guidance, and it opens the problem up of getting more injuries. So one thing I'd recommend is get a goal, whatever it is, and it can change from month to month. It could be improve your bench press one month, it could be improve your chin-ups next month, it could be improve your 5k run, and then try to get assessed. Assess yourself in some way, shape or form. So if you want to improve your chin-ups, well, what do you do to see if you can do chin-ups? You chin up and see how it's progressing bit by bit. Then it might be in relation to if it's fitness, then running or cycling. But for me, it's get a goal, it's then get a test, and then you may need some sort of coaching. You can't just rock in the gym. Like, people think they can rock into the gym and just, do some training. You don't just open the hood of your car and start messing around with your car if you don't know what you're doing. So you need to get advice in some way, shape or form. And most reputable professional businesses, i.e. gyms, will have someone in there you can lean on. And it might not be every session you train, it might be just the first 2 sessions. Maybe come to someone like you, Dan, and get yourself assessed going, you know what, I'm going to do these unilateral or single leg exercise and single arm exercise until I get that balance in the body, and then I can start bench pressing. But Monday, by the way, is International Bench Day. Everyone knows that. But everyone goes in and benches. And these guys haven't got balance between right side and left side. They don't have the same range of motion in the shoulder. Like my son, for example, he joined Westwood in Clontarf recently. And I asked him...
Doesn't train with you?
No, he doesn't. I know why he doesn't train with me. So he's only there maybe 3 months. So he keeps telling me what he's benching. I'm saying, well, what's your chins like? He goes, chin-ups, Well, what? Because chin-ups isn't a good exercise? Because it's hard to do, so it's not cool to do. Squatting's not cool to do. Legs not cool to do, by the way. I had 2 guys come to see me during the week. They're training in a local gym in Swords. And I said, just show me your program at the moment. And it was chest, then it was back, then it was shoulders, then it was arms. I'm going, lads, you do know you have a lower part of your body, Yeah. But it can't be sore and work. You can't be, literally, seriously, the scaffolder. So I can understand that. Yeah. But the point is, you need to build it up to some level. Yeah. So for me, it's about goal. It's about testing to see how you're progressing in the gym. And what we say is, what you measure, you manage. So you need to measure yourself on a regular basis to see how you're improving. And then seek out advice from somebody, Yeah. But unfortunately, CrossFit is a funny cookie. So CrossFit, for me, I met one of the head guys of CrossFit in Canada many years ago. And CrossFit, when you do CrossFit, you get good at doing CrossFit. Yeah. So Olympic lifting, powerlifting, bodybuilding training, and fitness training, that's what CrossFit basically is, and mobility and gymnastic movements. It's so many different types of spectrum of development that the normal Joe Soap can't adhere to that. You can't get a 50-year-old exec in and start doing snatches. He'll smash his labrum. He'll just be in bits.
They tend to be measured by time as well, not by form or by any other metric.
Really. It's just, for me, I'm not slagging CrossFit at all, and it's a very hard discipline. The people that do it are exceptionally good at doing it. But some of the centres that do it don't progress their athletes in the right way, and it may be a little bit too advanced for a lot of people. One of the things I would say, and I never slag CrossFit off, and I'm not slagging it off. I'm just saying that it's a unique mix of different modalities of strength and conditioning. One of the things that I have a problem with, people saying functional training. So functional training, in my opinion, and Ian King, one of the leading guys in S&C in the world, there's no such thing as functional training. Literally, there's no round bar exact tree that's balanced in the woods, or you're not going to deadlift something that's exactly balanced. So when it comes to function, when you improve the function of someone's body, that's functional training. Yeah. If I get someone in the gym and I kick their ass in a weight room, or I kick their ass on an assault bike, it doesn't necessarily make them a better athlete. It may cross over. And what the situation is when it comes to strongman training, we've been doing strongman training for years. And strongman training for me is not necessarily the strongman games like you'll watch on the television, but lifting sleds and flipping tires and kettlebells and dragging stuff. That crossover to sports is much faster. So we call it the period of delayed transmutation. Here's a mouthful for you. So the period of delayed transmutation basically means if I make you fitter, your fitness may not cross over to the sport for 2 to 6 weeks. So you have that period. I like to say to people, like when you drive a new car. So when I get into my wife's car is a manual car, and I drive an automatic. So it takes me a bit of while, just to get back into the bearings again. But if you make someone fitter and stronger in the gym, it doesn't go from gym the pitch like that. It doesn't flip over. So it takes a while for that to happen. But if you do get someone fitter and stronger and quicker doing strongman training, the crossover is much faster onto the pitch, much faster onto the court. So that's why I like that type of what people call functional training, but it's not. It's just more movement, more carrying, dragging, more movement that you would do in a sport.
Yeah. Well, I suppose if you look at it this way, if you do a squat or a deadlift or a bicep curl, the weight is generally well balanced.
Yeah.
If you carry a sled or pick up one of those Atlas stones or something like that, you're twisting, you're rotating. Yeah. Go out onto the rugby pitch, the fella's not going to come at you dead on when you can tackle him right at the hips.
100%, yeah. And you're never going to run in straight lines in rugby.
No.
You know, you're always been running at an angle. So these guys doing woodway running and stuff. And that's another thing, treadmills. Like a few gyms I walked in, they'd like 77 treadmills. And when you run a treadmill, you're forced into extension. You're not pushing yourself forward. So these guys on treadmills think that they're going to improve their running. They're actually going to hamper the running mechanics running on a treadmill. And I've used woodway runners before, and they're a little bit different, but
The curve,
yeah. So you self-generate the power yourself, but it will never take away from real running. You know, I was in New Zealand, as I was just saying to you a few weeks ago, and the guy I was staying with said, let's run up this mountain. I said, yeah, I'm a bit jet lagged, Jeff. He goes, no, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. So we ran up this mountain. It was 15 minutes non-stop, straight up. Well, my quads were dead. Get me to run in a straight line. I can run all day.
Yeah.
Well, not all day, maybe half of the day, but straight up, it's just the incline is just so different. And then coming down, the braking coming down, like my legs were in bits. So the terrain, the incline, the change in direction, that's what you need to do if you're running for the sport. But running a treadmill, it's
yeah, you can see it. Like I play Gaelic football, and you can see it when a fella comes out and he's massive and he's jacked.
Yeah.
You kind of know you have this lad in the bag, like, because very well defined, very large, but absolutely, I don't like to use the word functional strength, and you just said it's not something you like to say there, but can't really apply that strength or size to the sport.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. It kind of ties in with what you're saying about have a goal. Like, if your goal is to be huge, maybe don't be huge for gas.
That's exactly it. So this is we say this all the time. When I was interviewed in the gym a good few years ago for a documentary on Conor McGregor, and in the documentary I did this pose and did a bicep pose, and I said the
Netflix, the one that's on Netflix, is it?
No, that's the Notorious one. It was one before that.
Okay.
And in it I said, oh, you don't want all show no go. Well, I got ripped. So all the boys were texting me, giving me a hard time. But the reason why I said it is that having big biceps in the UFC is pointless.
Yeah.
It's pointless. It's good for after you do your weigh in, but that's about it. Yeah. And the reason being is you've got big biceps, you've got heavier arms. Yeah. So when you're wrestling, your arms are heavier, they build up lactic acid, you're slower punching, you can't keep your hands high, your head and arm choked easier. So it doesn't benefit. So the point is, when you see a big guy come onto the pitch in Gaelic, he might be a bit stronger, but then he's going to empty the tank much faster than somebody else. I'm okay with that. He has a good 10 minutes in the first half, boom, he's done then. Yeah. So you have to match your training to what your athletic endeavour is going to be.
And that can be applied to anybody. Really,
100%.
From someone trying to lose weight to someone trying to compete in an Olympic wrestling match or something like that. Yeah. On the nutrition side of things then, is there a similar approach you take? I remember I heard you say one of the rules I really liked, we mentioned an ABC rule before as well. Is there a specific kind of, no matter who comes into you, again, about the goal, is it weight loss or muscle gain or whatever, is there a starting point for everybody? Or is it just the same kind of thing, have a goal and plan towards it?
Well, so first of all, when everyone comes to me when it comes to nutrition, and this is the problem, it's not all about macros. And calories in, calories out model works for a lot of people. Yeah. But a lot of people come to see me, it doesn't work for. So what I like to look at, what do you want to do? You want to lose weight, you want to gain weight, you want to improve your muscle mass, you want to improve your cognition, you want to slow down aging. So for me, if you're not testing, you're guessing. Yeah. So every person I talk to, and I do this at every seminar I teach, I ask the guys in the room, how many people are taking supplements? And the whole room raise their hand. Then I ask the same question, how many people have been tested? And they're like, what do you mean tested? Like, tested for the supplements you're taking? I know, I take it because it's supposed to make you more energy. Well, you don't know. So what we do is we do blood tests, we do whole nutritional evaluation to see where your nutritional status is, and then we might do some IV therapy, or we might do some supplements, or we might change your diet. If you don't test, you're guessing. So again, you're going to devote your time into improving your health. You need to make sure you spend the money on the supplement that you need. So for us, we get a goal. Maybe it's weight loss, cognition, anti-aging. We'll test them with a blood test. It could be a hormone test, it could be a stool test, it could be an allergy test. And then we develop a plan to suit them. But it's not as simple as just cutting calories. So for example, there was a good research done by the International Society of Sports Nutrition, and they assessed 5 different types of diets. And any diet that's low in calories is also the major one that you're going to be low in calories is going to be macronutrients. But then micronutrients, you're always going to be low in vitamins and minerals if you're on a calorie deficient diet, 100%. So anyone that's been dieting for a number of years, they're going to be vitamin and mineral deficient. And these people come into you and they're zapped. I had a lady in the gym before she came to see me, and she came 2 weeks ago with her blood, and her hemoglobin was 11. Now the range is 11 to 17, but that's low.
Yeah.
That's low. And another thing, when you look at blood chemistry, it's called mean corpuscular volume, and it basically means the size of your red blood cells. So what I like to say, what I explained to her was, imagine you were delivering something in Dublin. You wouldn't want to deliver it in a mini. It's too small. You can't carry anything. You don't want to deliver it in an articulated lorry because it can't fit around the village. Yeah. You want to deliver it in a transit. So if your MCV or mean corpuscular volume is too big or too small, you're not efficiently transporting oxygen around your body. So you basically have what's called macrocytic anemia or microcytic anemia. You're anemic. So you're not going to be able to deliver oxygen to your body. And her first complaint was, I want to lose weight. I said, well, why haven't you lost weight already? I'm wrecked all the time. So unfortunately, people say, okay, you want to lose weight. What do? They take stuff away from you. Yeah. They take food away from you. And then you're going to increase the susceptibility of other nutritional deficiencies and then cause hormonal problems. So my opinion of cutting calories is not always a big thing. And don't get me wrong, we do cut calories for a lot of people, but it's not the be all and end all. You know?
Yeah, and kind of the takeaway, I suppose, for that, and something that is becoming really, really obvious lately, is that everybody is so different that cutting calories for 10 people from the same village or the same town or whatever, or living the same house, same family, is not going to have 10 similar results. It's going to be really, really individual.
Oh, 100%. And even when it comes to thyroid, I've had people come to see me and they're on 800 or 900 kilocalories a day, and their thyroid is so wound down that it just doesn't work for them. So you have to look at the full picture. And what I like to say to people, every time someone comes to see me, I do want to see what they're like now. Don't get me wrong, what their current health is like right now is important to me, but I want to know the life they led before they came to see me. So maybe you've lost 10 kilos before you come and see me, and I want to know how you lost that. I want to know the health issues you had beforehand. I want to know how many kids you have. I want to know what job you did. And for us, we want to know the whole picture so we can move forward. For me, I have a major issue with women for lots of different reasons, but we won't get into that in the podcast. But for me, my issue with females, particularly Irish females, is they're on the go all the time and they don't look after themselves at all. And I have this tissue box on the clinic counter. When people come in and see me, I'm going, look, what are you here for? Like, if I had a magic wand, what would be your 3 wishes? I want to feel good about myself. I want to lose weight. But these people have had kids. And this, unfortunately, don't have the Irish stats. It was done in America. But on a standard American diet, it takes 5 years for a woman to regain the nutritional status after having a baby.
On the standard
American diet. So don't have one on a SID diet. Unfortunately, the problem is in Ireland, when women have it, and I'm not saying their diet is worse than ours, let's be honest, right? But what I would say is when women come to see me, they've probably had 2 kids within that 5-year time frame, and then they'll have a hectic life, and then they'll go back to work and lots of different things. So they're nutritionally depleted. They're digestive problems that they're not addressing whatsoever. I've never had an Irish woman come to see me with regular bowel movements at all, but they never talk about it. You ask a guy about his bowel movements, he'll show you pictures. He'll have pie charts and all. Pie charts a bad example there. But you ask a woman, they're like, no, don't do that. I had one woman say to me, she goes, I'm very regular every Wednesday. Like, that's like, I know we're making a joke about it, but that's not right. Like, that woman's not detoxing properly. That woman's not absorbing the nutrients correctly. That woman's immune system is going to be compromised. And when it comes to gut-brain barrier function, there's always going to be imbalance there. So for me, when someone comes to me, it's not as simple as just cutting calories. It's about talking to the person, interviewing them, finding out where they came from, maybe doing a test to find out what's going on, and then developing a plan for them. So I use the example of food is all broken down into 5 major things: proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins and minerals. So the 5 fingers in your hand. And when I ask people about their food, they say, what did you have for breakfast? I had toast, I had orange juice, and I had Weetabix. Well, there's no protein, there's no fat, there's no vitamins, no minerals. So that's all you've had first thing in the morning. So the issue for me is that sometimes people aren't living the life that they need to live to be the person they want to be. Yeah. We have a phrase in the gym, it's called 2.9%. And what that means is if you're training in any gym or in any place in the world 5 days a week, which is a lot for people to train, that only represents 2.9% of your week. So if you're not, if the rest
in
terms of hours. Yeah. So if you're training 2.9% of the week, let's say 3, round it off. If you're training 5 days a week, which is a lot, your results are 100% correlated to how well you lived at 97%. Well, I've got guys that sleep terrible. I check the blood sugar in the morning and it's through the roof. That person is a great person for intermittent fasting, skipping breakfast. But I've had people low in the morning Then they reach for coffee or sugar drinks or bagels. They have that cascade of hormonal and insulin fluctuations through the whole day, and they're aging faster. Their brain function isn't correct. We've got guys that are very wealthy in their job, and their decision making is crucial. It's worth millions. So we need them guys to be on point all the time. But if you look, and these execs come into me and they've got boobs, and they've got big visceral adipose tissue, big fat bellies, these guys are killing themselves. And there's a great book by Dr. Joel Evans. He said, dead executives don't get bonuses. The problem is people won't change their lifestyle until they've had some sort of health scare. And I'm sick of saying the same thing all the time, but the absence of disease doesn't mean the presence of health. So just because you're not sick doesn't mean you're healthy. So these guys come in, I'm grand. No, you're not grand, my friend. You're not. And I asked them, give me a scale of 1 to 10. How healthy do you feel? And they go, oh, yeah, I'll pick 7. So I banned 7. Oh, I'm about a 6 out of 10. Well, what are you doing not to be a 10? Well, I drink too much. I work too late. I don't exercise. Well, then me training you 3 or 4 times in the gym isn't going to undo the rest of the stuff. So I need to investigate what they're doing the 97% of the week that I want to get into. And once you get them sleeping right, sleep is something that I talk a lot about. I've done many talks on it. But for me, when I ask people about sleep, the big thing they focus on is nighttime. So I say, how are you going to improve your sleep? I'm going to go to bed early. Well, everyone does that. So what else are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to stop coffee. Okay, I'm going to black out my room. If you want to really get your sleep sorted, you start in the morning. You get up early. You get yourself, like when I was in New Zealand, I didn't stay in bed during the daytime. I had to get up and get going to the New Zealand time zone. Because I wasn't there that long, it wasn't so much of an issue. But Irish people are not on Irish time. They're flat, they're dead the first few hours in the morning. And there's a test you can do on a hormone called cortisol, which is a wake-up hormone. It's called a CAR, Cortisol Awakening Response, and how fast cortisol comes up over the first 60 minutes in the morning. And when you assess that, you can see what someone's reserve is like. But people are flat. People are relying on coffee, and I say that as I have a coffee beside me, but when people are relying on coffee and sugar drinks in the morning to get themselves going, and then they wake up at night time. And then what happens is they're in bed, and they're called what's called tired, i.e. because their body is flat, but they're wired because their hormones are higher. So you have 2 cycles. You have what's called process S and process C. One is a sleep drive and one is a hormone drive. And you want your sleep drive to be low in the morning and your hormones to be awake to be high in the morning. As you go through the day, you want your sleep drive to go higher and your hormones to go awake to be lower. So you want that X. The problem is people are waking up in the morning feeling crap and their hormones are low, and what happens is they go towards bedtime.
So they're wired by the end of the day.
That's exactly, their brain is wired, but their body's like, oh yeah, I'm fat.
Yeah.
So the issue is for me, I always look at the lowest hanging fruit. Someone comes into me and let's say they got knee problems, but they're not sleeping, they're not drinking, they're chronically dehydrated. All the therapy in the world will have some short-term relief, but from a long-term relief, you're not going to get the resolution, the soft tissue in the cartilage, in the bone, in the body. If you're inflamed and you're not sleeping, and you're not hydrated. Like like if people are dehydrated, like what are you doing, man? You need, like I ask people how much water to drink in a day. 2 or 3 glasses.
Yeah, and that to them is quite good because they're drinking 2 or 3 glasses. Yeah. Look, a true pro. You've segued lovely into the next section I wanted to touch on then, because it's a very interesting point, because a lot of crossover what we see here as well. People might come into Dr. Sam here and they're looking for nutritional IVs. This is the latest kind of fad thing, and I will call it a fad because a lot of people do it just because it's the cool thing to do. Yeah. And a lot of these people have chronic fatigue. A lot of these people have never had their bloods done, or if they had, they've had it done by someone who didn't look for anything really, or they looked within, on a quote unquote, normal ranges. Like, what's a normal range?
Yeah, exactly.
And then they want a treatment, and it could be a stem cell treatment or an IV treatment or whatever. And when we asked them some very, very basic questions, nothing even as detailed as you've gone into there, they're not sleeping right, they're not eating right, and they haven't done it for 20 years. They've been tired for 20 years, and they expect to come in and have a supplement, which is what an IV is, and that'll fix them. And it's the same with the guy going to the gym who doesn't get enough calories in a day, wants to build muscle, and he's taking whey protein and creatine and everything, and he's getting smaller and doesn't understand why. So there is a nice level of crossover there. And you made a point about you drinking coffee, but you obviously drink that as part of a very balanced lifestyle, not to wake you up in the morning, whereas coffee for most Irish people and most people in the world is a crutch. It's their way to wake up, whereas the body has very, very effective systems to manage that if you do it properly. So it is very interesting. So when we have someone that comes into us for something, say for example they have a sore knee and they're going to have a PRP injection, when we do a little bit of quizzing on their history, they've never ever been to see any sort of other healthcare professional like a physio or a sports specialist doctor. They don't really understand why their knee is bad or why it's sore. Usually they have a plethora of other issues like back, ankle, groin, whatever, and that's usually contributing to the knee. But they've left it so long that now they have actual knee problems as well. They have degenerative cartilage or whatever it might be. So when we do a treatment like that, we obviously like to work with someone like yourself, which is again part of the reason why you're in chatting with us today. But if we have someone who comes into us, how do you get that message across to them? Because we do speak to our clients, and we do explain to them that this is one part of a puzzle. It's a big picture here. The treatments and the supplements and the whey protein and the stem cell and the IVs, these are all, they're nice bonuses, and they're something that we have in the modern day, but they're not the base level. They're not the kind of start off point. Do you obviously you've gone through some of the major things you talk about there, but when you have someone who's come to you and they say to Owen, I want IV, or I've heard about this latest greatest training online, do you have to kind of bring them back down a little bit? You have to deflate their bubble. I know a lot of people hate the idea that hard work is what they need to do to get there, so that's the biggest barrier I always see. And when I was working as an athletic therapist with injuries as well, that's what I saw. People wanted to get on the table, have a rub and feel better, whereas 99% of the stuff that was going to make them feel better was to go home, do their rehab every day, 20-30 minutes every single day, come back in regularly, follow up, set their goals, etc. So it's that deflation for people is enough, what I've seen, to turn them off the whole thing completely, and they go, sure, feck it, I'll have a sore knee for the rest of my life. Do you find that as well?
Yeah, so when someone comes in, so there's always a reason why they come in to see you. So if someone, let's say, has a sore knee and they come in, that's their driving force. So they do want a treatment. So for me, I sort of, in the past, I would have been either do the stretching at home or don't come and see me. Don't waste my time. I used to do that. But now I'm in a situation where I say, you know what, I will do some dry needling, or we'll do some stretching or rehab in conjunction with wearing on them every session they come and see you. So when people are motivated by a certain factor, I think you need to give them a little bit of it. So there was a train back in the day where people, when like personal trainers and S&C coaches, would do a lot of corrective exercise, as in, we're just going to improve your posture. But guys weren't necessarily coming to these trainers to improve their posture, they were coming to lose weight. So you have to sort of give the clients what they want. So when a client comes into you with a sore knee, and let's say they want an IV, I would definitely give them the IV, because that's going to make them feel better, and then on the road to improve their nutrition and training. For me, I love IVs. I've been getting IVs for ages, and when I'm traveling in particular, they're fantastic. But if someone's motivated to come in and get an IV treatment, they're on the road. They're not off the road yet. So I would use that as okay, so you're feeling better. So what we're going to do now is we're going to focus on your food, and maybe even supplements during the next few months, and then you come back for your treatment in 3 or 4 weeks time. Then we do it again. But use that motivation of them to come in as a bit of a motivation to move forward.
Hey guys, today I'm chatting with Eoin Lacey from the Irish Strength Institute about the steps that you can take towards achieving your health and fitness goals. If you would like to contact Eoin or book a consultation with him, you can get in touch via the website at www.irishstrengthinstitute.com, or follow the ISI on Instagram or Facebook at ISI Health. If you want any more information about anything we discussed on today's podcast, you can get in touch with us via email at info@humanregenerationproject.com, or visit the website at www.humanregenerationproject.com. Enjoy the rest of the podcast. I call it a break in the clouds, I suppose.
Yeah.
Chronic fatigue is a good one. If you have someone with chronic fatigue, they don't have the energy to go and exercise and to sort out the diet and stuff like that. So yeah, the treatments and the supplements can be a good step up, or a booster, or a hand on your back. Here we go.
Yeah, and I've seen research done recently when it comes to crash diets. And people used to say crash diets are terrible for you, they wreck your thyroid and so on. But actually, some people, when they do crash diets, they have that initial weight loss, and then it gets them on the road to moving forward for longer. So I think it depends on the person. But if someone's coming in, I don't just say, okay, either do all this stuff or I'm not going to help you. I say, okay, what are you willing to do? Yeah. What are you willing to do? And for me, people are willing to change something. And when they see improvement, and I don't know how many times people have said to me, oh, I feel great. I don't realise how shit I felt until I feel better. Yeah. People don't realise what real health is like until they feel better. They go, man, I feel good. I wake up in the morning, I'm feeling happy. I can have sex with my wife again. My motivation's better. My libido's better. My weight, I feel better. Why did I let myself get like that? And when I see these guys with big boobs and big bellies and they're working stressed out the whole time, they're not happy. Yeah. They're not. And the same with females, if their digestive system isn't right, they're just putting it on the long finger, not looking after it. And then sometimes when they come in to get the IV, that might be their little bit of I'm coming to see someone, I'm paying the money to see someone, and maybe that's the road. We start off there.
Take a bit of responsibility for it as well.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and this is what I say to everyone. It's not my quote, it's Jack Canfield's. Like, you're 100% responsible for where you are in life. Whether you're fit, healthy, fat, big, small, whatever. That's like your height, obviously, you didn't change, but your activity levels. My brother looks like Russell Brand, hasn't lifted a weight in his life. At my wedding, he says you can summarize Owen's job in two sentences: do 12 reps, don't eat bread. So,
so he's funny like Russell Brand has said then, yeah.
Or he lifts things that don't need to be lifted. Yeah, true, I lift things that don't need to be lifted, but the atmosphere you surround yourself in, and we call that your exposed zone. The environment you're surrounded in, your nutrition, your training, the people you're around, the headspace of these people. If you're around positive, successful people, I know one gym I was in, I had on the wall, friends don't let friends get fat. I thought that was quite good, right? Or friends don't let friends skip leg day. So you surround yourself with positive people, whether that be trainers, professionals, or doctors, or people that are looking after your health. That's the people you want to be around, you know?
Yeah, it's one of the things we touched on in one of our early podcasts here as well, is when people come and see a doctor, for example. And it's the same as when they come and see any professional that they're looking for help from, is they don't really care about the specifics so much. They don't care about their blood count, or they don't care about the specific virus they have. They want to feel good, like they want to feel better. And a lot of people, and I'm not excluded from this either, don't really know what it is to feel the healthiest they could ever feel, because you're never really going to be the healthiest you ever can be, but every step you take is a step towards feeling a little bit better, I think.
100%. And this is the thing I ask people all the time: when's the last time someone fed you? And they're like going, what do you mean, like in a sexual way? I said, no, it's feeding, not feeding strawberries and cream, but when's the last time that someone fed you? And they're like, when I was a baby. So you're telling me you're 100% responsible for what you drink and what you eat. Well, yeah. Well, then make better decisions. Yeah. So it's not super complicated. And if I put 1,000 food products in front of anyone, they'll know what's good and bad. But the problem is they're reacting. They're reacting to their lives. They're not having a constructed plan of what I'm going to eat, when I'm going to eat. They're eating on the go. They're eating convenience food. Any food that's convenient is generally unhealthy, you know? Yeah. So again, it's about giving them the skills to have a healthy life with making the right decisions.
Yeah, and I think and it's a funny one, because I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast from time to time as well, and whenever this subject comes up, he gets quite animated and talks about discipline, and it's just about having the discipline. And I know for a lot of people that there are barriers in the way to that discipline. It is as easy as just not eating this and eating that, but it's not as easy as, you know what I mean? Because convenience foods are called convenience foods for a reason. They make a lot of money for the companies that sell them. They're quick and easy to buy, quick and easy to eat. It's much more difficult to sit down and cook a nutritious meal than it is to whip something off the shelf. So when we speak about discipline and mindset and all that kind of stuff, people do need guidance from guys like yourself, from people like us and Dr. Sam, from all the good what's the word I'm looking for, all the resources out there. They do need that constant guidance, and it's kind of where I started today when we were chatting, is that a lot of the people, you mentioned it, when women come to you, all of them have problems, but like, if it's all of them, there must be a systemic problem then. They're getting the wrong kind of messages from the wrong kind of resources. And I know a lot of government bodies, and we won't go into too much detail, they give bad advice. I know even last year, the coconut oil thing in the States, everyone was being told it's going to kill you, and then it's the best thing ever. Like, so people are really confused about what to believe, and they're hearing stuff from what seem like really, really legit resources, and it's just wrong. Like, it's the science isn't strong behind it. And then you have someone like yourself, and like, there's not too much at the moment, to be fair, in this country anyway. There's not a lot of people like yourselves and the ISI who do this kind of this heavy research yourselves and dive into it. Like you said, if you want to do this through the government or an official source, you have to go and get your course approved and the material approved, and who's approving it? The people who approved the message about coconut oil or whatever it is. So you're constantly fighting that battle. Was it just a passion for you to kind of to fight that side of things, or did you? Was it just come from an interest in the kind of the field, or was it a frustration with the bad information out there that kind of got you so much? Because you're obviously very, very well read on this stuff. Yeah,
well, for me, like, the reason why I study so many different things is that I failed. Like, I failed so many times. When a client comes to you and you put them on a low calorie diet, like, why isn't she losing weight? And then you see the blood chemistry, like, I don't know what the hell this stuff is. So for me, all my study has been driven because I didn't get results with one client. So someone comes into you with fibromyalgia. What the hell is fibromyalgia? You start looking this up, and then that's a minefield. And then you start looking at Hashimoto thyroiditis, and then you start looking at leaky gut and irritable bowel and SIBO, and all these words. I'm like, I don't know what these are. So clients Not getting results is what drove me off. And then what I would do is I'd find out the best expert on SIBO or best expert in thyroid, and then I'd go and study with them, or I'd intern in their practices. But for me, the driving force was getting results with people that came to see me. And unfortunately, there's so many different spectrums of dysfunction going on that people don't have the expertise, but you can look at it. You can go and look for it. And you said something about discipline there. I seen something recently where the guy said, have you got time to train? He goes, I've no time to train. So what happens if your front door broke? Well, I get it fixed. Well, have you time to fix your door? Well, that's a priority. Oh, so your health isn't a priority. So for me, when it comes to discipline, it's down to priority and also down to if you're driven enough for it. But you need to surround yourself with people that are willing to help you in the journey. But it's not about calories in, calories out. But from relation to studying, for me, it's just a passion. I love it. And unfortunately, there's a lot of trainers that come to some of the seminars, and they're quite famous in Ireland. You'll see them in the paper all the time and on television, certain programs, and their advice is so general. It's like you go from white to brown. Bro, come on, you're 5 a day. Listen to me. My heart is crying. But the food. But what I realise about that is they're trying to help people be healthier, but they're giving very general recommendations because they don't want to have any issues on themselves, which I think is it's poor quality information because it's not specific and it's not current with the research. And I wouldn't be a fan of giving anyone any recommendation unless I've seen them. There's some general things that we could agree on. Like let's say for example, you got all the nutritionists and dietitians in the world, they'll probably agree on eat more vegetables. I think everyone will agree with that. A lady in the gym this morning, 9 o'clock, she has a problem with brassica foods. Can't eat asparagus, can't have dim, can't take broccoli, can't have any spinach. So she has a reaction to that. So that doesn't suit her. So you can't be a generalist. You need to be specific, you know. So for me, the reason why I've gone off and studied so many different things is that I've failed with so many different clients that I had to go off and say, I need to know more about this. And then when I link with a doctor or a specialist in the field, I'm going, I need to learn from this. I need to know how to identify these areas. I'm not diagnosing the thyroid issue, but there's certain signs you can definitely tell. You know, when someone comes in, they've got cold hands, they're losing their hair, their periods all over the place. This person needs to get their thyroid assessed, you know.
And if we agree that everybody's individual and you can't throw a blanket statement out, like what's the way forward then? Because you have the HSE and kind of you have all these governing bodies that they have to say something. And in some cases there is ignorance there, they just don't know the answer, and in some cases, like you said, they're being very, very cautious because that lady this morning, like if she started to eat the vegetables based on the information given from the governing body, she's going to have a reaction. So what do you think the way forward is then? Is it the responsibility of the individual then to go and to dig deeper into themselves, or do you envision some kind of movement where we will have boards or organisations that really focus in on this kind of individualised or specific health?
Right. So what we've done is we have a gym on Leeson Street, and what we offer there, we call it a corporate health medical. And what it is the executives come in and we give them three sessions. So we assess their blood chemistry, we do a hormone test, we do a fitness test, and then the third session we give them a report. So you go and you get a medical in Ireland and they'll say yay or nay. They don't give you any usable, actionable information. But they come and we do this corporate health medical. They leave, know where the hormones are, know where the cortisol is, know where the melatonin is, know where the testosterone, estrogen is. They know their fitness level, they know their body composition, they know how they're managing sugars, and they know what their flexibility is like. So then they can go and do something with it. So for me, I think moving forward, people need to take a handle of their own health. And the problem is with doctors, people only go and see doctors, and Dr. Sam is different. People only go and see doctors when they're already sick. The problem is you need to address it beforehand. So check in every single year with your doctor and see where you are and what you can improve on. But wait until you get sick is moronic, you know. So identify areas. I'm putting on weight, I'm losing weight, I have heartburn all the time, I'm constipated, I've got psoriasis, eczema, my hair's falling out, my brain is foggy, I can't remember people's names. Identify these things beforehand and then start to change your environment to do that. But going to your doctor once a year and having a full medical, I think is a great step to go, but be proactive about it.
Yeah, and most of those things that you named and most of those conditions, you probably agree with me in this, are preventable. They could be prevented without medication, 100%, without going to your doctor. Yeah, and most of the time when you go and get a medication, it'll cause 10 other problems, but it'll solve the one. You're great, no more psoriasis, but now I've got headaches, don't sleep well, blah blah blah, blah.
Polypharmacy, all these people taking multiple medication and having side effects from it. There's a thing that we talk a lot about. It's called drug-induced nutritional deficiency. So every time you take any medication in the world, it has to be processed by your body.
Yeah.
And the detoxification and the processing of any medication will take nutrients from your body. So, for example, the contraceptive pill will deplete the B vitamins from your body and also a bit of CoQ10. So, the B vitamins are very important inside the cell of your body for making energy. Making ATP or making what I call euro for people. So, your cells make energy for themselves. If you're not eating green vegetables, you're not absorbing food correctly, you're not eating red meat, you're not going to be getting B12 and absorbing B12, you're having a heavy menstrual cycle, and you're tired all the time, you're deficient in B vitamins. Yeah. You know, so and so many women in Ireland are taking the contraceptive pill and not taking B vitamins, or they're aging faster, which again can be linked to CoQ10, one of the most researched supplements for anti-aging. But it's a simple fix, but they've no problem taking the pill, but they've an issue taking the supplements. Yeah, yeah. And I chatted to a guy recently about Paddy Houlihan about supplements. Any food that wasn't alive is processed. So cornflakes are supplements. You know, Crunch and Weetabix are supplements. So cans of Monster are supplements. It's not Monster Tree or Monster Bush. I said that once at a seminar. I think that didn't get out well. There probably is a few of those, but there's no Red Bull Tree. Yeah. So people think, supplements are pills. Well, any food that wasn't real that's been made, they've added stuff in. Like pretzels, for example. They know the pressure it takes to break a pretzel and how fast it dissolves in your mouth and how much sugar and salt is in it, so you want to eat another one. So that's food science. That's engineering at its greatest. So when people think, I don't take pills I don't like pills, as they drink a can of Monster. What? Yeah. So the confusion is there, or they're drinking low-fat milk with stuff added to it. That's a supplement. Yeah. So unfortunately, people identify pills as, they're supplements, but processed food isn't. It's the exact same thing, you know?
It is, yeah. And I suppose, again, to make the point, they are fighting the advertising industry as well, because people are telling them, like, corn flakes. Sure, that's corn. Weetabix, wheat's great for you. Oh man, that's the kind of the brainwashing that goes on. So for someone like yourself, then, for Eoin Lacey, what does the day to day look like for Eoin Lacey, like in terms of your kind of your own habits or your own diet? Would it be? I know it's not going to be applicable to everybody, but do you apply a lot of this to yourself? Because I know a lot of practitioners, they struggle to apply this. Yeah,
you know what? And actually, yesterday I have a guy that I do mentoring online with. So he rings and we go through his structure and put his day together. I actually use a diary. It's called a focus planner. And unfortunately, when I'm traveling a lot, it's hard to get my diary schedule. So what I have is what's called a morning ritual, start a day ritual, and then I have an end of day shut down, and then a nighttime ritual. So when we get up in the morning, I've got 3 kids. So I like to be with the kids in the morning, have breakfast, brush my teeth, brush my teeth, and then take my supplements after breakfast. Then what I'll do is I generally will listen to a book for about 20-25 minutes on the way to work. Once I get to work, I devote 20 minutes to get my emails done and stuff like that, get that work out of the way. Then I'll generally train. I like to train first thing in the morning if I can, and then I'll see my patients. I don't like doing any more than 3 patients in a row, then take a break. I'll go for lunch, or I might do some stretching, and then I'll do 3 or 4. I aim to do 4 to 6 patients a day. Patients last about 75 to 90 minutes, most of my people.
So it's quite comprehensive.
So it takes a long, and it's quite draining, and there's a lot of emails and support afterwards, so it takes a bit of time to do that. And then I generally finish most nights about 8 o'clock is when I finish. But from a food point of view, I like to try to keep my breakfast and lunch more fat and protein orientated, and I try to save my carbs for the night time just to induce better sleep. But that's what I have a system on. When I go to bed, when I get up, my affirmations, my work, my start of the day, start up, and my end of the day, what I'm going to do at the end of the day. The issue is most people wake up and they're on their phone straight away. Yeah. Now, when I open my emails, there's always going to be emails with something to do. But if it's not super important, I get a phone call if it's important. If not, I leave it. So I try not to do any emails or WhatsApp or messages until I get into the office. Otherwise, I'm half talking to my wife, half talking to the kids. So I like to park that, get it done when I get to work, and get it done when I leave the job. So I'm not half at home trying to find out about my kid's day, and I'm fucking texting people back. It's not. You want to be in the moment. I say to people, we all wear different hats. Hats as a brother, a father, a friend, a lover, a husband, or whatever it is. And you can't do everything all the time. So, but don't be half in doing something. Don't be sitting on the couch talking to me on your phone on Instagram. Either be on Instagram in another room, or come in and chat to me. So, one or the other, you know.
People are going to be listening and going, geez, the golden boy here.
No, for sure. Like no, I'm not. And this is the thing. The only reason I'm saying that is because I'm sure you can relate. When you're working all the time and you're traveling and you're looking after people, you put yourself last, and then all of a sudden you're burning out, and then you're not performing. I love training. So for me, I need to train, I need to study every single day. So I have a goal of getting getting through 2 books a week, and I'm successfully done that since the start of the year. And then I have my journals that I have to read, and then I have an app that I use called Read, and I've basically it surveys all the research out there and the categories I like, and it sends me the papers when they come in. It's quite good. So I try to get through some papers, some journals, some books, and we have this system in the gym where we'll ask people, what you learn today? So everyone in the gym has to learn something every day on random topics. Like some of the stuff has come from aromatase inhibitors to fucking, SIBO, to skin issues, to one thing there recently I read on people's eyelids dropping down and its association with mitochondrial dysfunction. And it's really common, So physical exams are something that I'm a big fan of. Back in the day, I wasn't able to do a lot of blood tests and I couldn't take bloods. Then went off and did my full body exam, so I can take bloods now. But when someone comes in and you're treating them on the table, you start to see skin issues, then you start to see edema, and then you start to see nail fungus, then you start to see excess hair growth or loss in areas, and that starts to identify what's going on internally. So for example, in the training world, people's skin on their back is terrible, and I was going, what the hell is going on with this? First of all, if you shower too often, you're going to take the sebum out of your skin, you're going to increase the possibility of infections in your skin. Whey protein.
Really, yeah.
Whey protein and acne is massively correlated. And I say to people, are you drinking dairy? No, don't have any dairy whatsoever. And they're banging down 2 whey protein shakes a day. Lads, what's going on? Take dairy out, mucus build-up, coating on the tongue in the morning, bad breath. All these things, people go, geez, I didn't know that was related. So for me, I'm always looking at people's skins, nail, hair, clothes, breath, eyebrows, all sorts of stuff to see what's going on. So then that might lead me down a road. No physical exam is a 100%. This person has loss of the lateral third of their eyebrow. They've got thyroid problems. Yeah. I'm just saying I might ask thyroid questions, or maybe they, cold hands, cold feet, or whatever it is,
Yeah, it's a helicopter view, really.
Yeah.
And overall looks at this person's general state of health and well-being. Yeah. And just on your sleep there, do you monitor your sleep? Do you quantify it?
I used to, and I did 2 talks last year on sleep, so I spent about 4 years getting deep into sleep branches in Canada I went to, sleep clinics in Ireland I've assessed. But the problem is with sleep, it's so individual. And if you assess sleep, actually, it wasn't me, it was Matthew Walker, his book. And in one of his seminars I seen, he said, sleep is like golf and sex. If you focus on it too much, you don't perform. So I said, so if you, I think it's good to track sleep. And I used to use a ring called the Aura ring. Yeah. That's the one I found to be the best. I've tried Jawbone, I've tried Fitbit, I've tried Apple phones.
That's what I have on now, Fitbit at the moment.
Some of them are really good. But if you stress about it then, and people go, I only got 45 minutes of deep sleep. Like, you're not really going to be getting any more than 2 hours of deep sleep anyway for the majority of people. But for me, it's another device in the bedroom. So I track it for some people, but the constant tracking, I don't do that often, unless someone has a real issue. And I've sent people to sleep clinics before, but the problem is I take you out of your house, away from your wife and kids and stress.
It's not your normal routine.
It's not your normal routine, you know? So it's, but sleep apnea is huge. So for me, when people come in, with necks over 17 inches, big bellies, nasal polyps, if they're mouth breathers, we do a lot to fix sleep apnea. Sleep apnea in Ireland is massive. So if you can stop the snore, if anyone's out there and they're snoring, you need to get that assessed, because how well you sleep recharges the batteries. The body does 2 things when it sleeps, mainly 2 things. It detoxifies, then it regenerates. And it does detoxification first. The body is very selfish in the fact that it wants to keep you alive now. So let's say, for example, I've got whatever size biceps or whatever size quads.
Go on, tell us.
No, it doesn't matter. 22 inches. No, I'm joking. But your body will break muscle down to keep you alive now. It doesn't care how big your biceps are in 2 years' time. Yeah. So the body is very efficient at keeping you alive now. So it will break you down. So the problem is with sleep, the body's trying to keep you alive now. It's not regenerating if you're toxic. And I mean toxic from... The body makes, every cell in your body has waste product that needs to get rid of, and we need those cells and those batteries to clean themselves out and recharge. But people are waking up in the morning flat. Like, I ask people, like, what's your battery first thing in the morning? 100%. I have to have shit to do. Well, what are you in the morning? Oh, well, I'm about 40%.
Till I get me coffee and
and then they boost themselves up. So for me, sleep is a big thing to address if it's dysfunctional. Waking up multiple times during the night is terrible. So there's technically 5 phases of sleep, and some people say 4. Wave 3 and 4 have been sort of put together a little bit. But when you go through different waves of sleep, REM sleep is short initially, and when you go into REM sleep first, it's quite short. But every cycle you go through, every 90 minutes, it goes through all the 5 cycles. Every time you go through a cycle, REM gets longer, and the earlier waves get shorter. But the problem is people wake up and then they reset that cycle again. And REM is where we get our majority of our brain recovery. And the brain swells, actually, it can shrink up to 40%. So the actual nerve cells can shrink, and they get that cerebrospinal fluid around your brain. It's actually called your lymphatic system. So like your lymphatic system, but your lymphatic system for your brain. So your brain shrinks during that REM sleep, and it gets that synovial, that cerebrospinal fluid to flush itself out. But people are waking up multiple times at night time, and they're not getting the longevity or the time and that last wave of REM sleep that they need. So sleep for me is huge. Like, the healthier someone is, I say to people all the time, we've all been hungover. Yeah, you've been hungover. Yeah, I was at a Stags a few weeks ago. I was hungover for sure. But what's hard when you're hungover? Everything. Yeah. Breathing is hard. Thinking about breathing is hard. Brushing just sitting there is hard. But people are walking around, and I'm saying they're hungover, but they're feeling crap all the time. Yeah. So everything is harder when you're hungover. So getting a better sleep makes you have better food choices, makes you prioritise yourself better, makes you better food decisions, makes you train, makes you integrate with people better, makes your mood better, makes you less reactive and more proactive, you know. So for me, if sleep is an issue, that needs to be addressed first, you know. Yeah. And CPAP machines, I have a huge issue with them, because CPAP machines are given to people, and then there's no aftercare. You rent them from the companies, and there's no recovery. Initially, they get people sleeping better. Plus, they're very attractive. If you've ever seen them with someone, Genie Mac. So for me, I would assess other things that can be controlled before people go on CPAP machines, or hopefully get them off them at some point. You know,
well, the CPAP machine is the same kind of theory as the protein shake or the IV treatment. Like, people love to sell them and then just sit back, and that's the product sell job done. Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic. A little note on the lymphatic system. It's only recently I read about this. Is it true that it's sleeping on your right side actually causes more effective drainage? Is that true? Is that just a random kind of...
I've heard that before, but I haven't seen the supportive research to see that. And then I've seen it on the left hand side for your liver and so on. But on the side, the key thing there is on your side. On your side. So on your back is not good. And mouth breathing. So mouth breathing and jaw formation is a key thing. But on your side, not on your back or not on your chest.
And as in not mouth breathing. So
not mouth breathing.
So do you recommend people tape their mouths?
No. So this when it comes to mouth taping, a friend of mine, Mike Mutzel, he put a picture up of his daughter that he mouth tapes, and he got slated on the internet for doing that. Yeah. So for me, I do mouth tape, but the mouth taping is to give you the sensation of closing your mouth. Yeah. It's not tape, not duct tape. Please, out there, it's not duct tape. Don't put duct tape on your mouth. It's what's called
somebody else's mouth.
Yeah. Don't say it on. So it's called 3 micropore tapes. You take about and you 3M, so you just open it really easy and it will break. So initially I get people to do that to start themselves, to have the sensation of being closed. We do a nasal cleansing or clearing technique. The Oxygen Advantage has a huge techniques on that. But for me, people should have their mouth closed when they're breathing. If they've got a deviated septum, they've got some polyps, they've got some mucus, you need to address that, see what's going on. For me, when I have nasal polyps or there's a lot of mucus, I look at food allergies straight off the bat. That's the big thing I go for. And then I do some drills to clear out the nose. And then I actually sometimes train people with their mouth closed and nasal blockage and so on. But I love people to be nasal breathers, particularly at night time. But the mouth taping for me is just to get you into the habit. You don't have to do it all the time.
Yeah. I'm doing a little unofficial experiment at the moment. As I'm just started wearing this Fitbit, so I've done a week with no taping, because I know I mouth breathe when I sleep. Right. I feel brute. I feel hungover when I wake up after sleeping. And then from tonight on, I'll be doing a week with the mouth taped. Okay. And I'll just compare. I know the stats aren't exactly deep diving, but I'll just see if there's any major changes in it.
Sure, that'd be interesting to see. Yep.
Fantastic stuff there. I know you do seminars and talks regularly. Are these things that kind of the general public can attend, or do they need to come and see you one-on-one, or can they come to your talks, or does that you have to be a doctor or in the field to kind of come to the talks?
Most of the talks that we give, if it's me giving the talks, is normally professionals, physios, doctors, osteos, chiros, all sorts of people come to our seminars. But the normal Joe Soul wouldn't come to one of our seminars. It wouldn't be beneficial for them, because it wouldn't be broad enough in different topics. We try to isolate certain areas. Let's say people say to me all the time, I want weight loss. Well, no, actually you don't want weight loss, you want fat loss. So then we go through the whole system of bed oxidation, how the actual body burns fat. And the issue is when that happens on these seminars, we go into that, so general population probably wouldn't get lots of usable information from that. So it's more for professionals. If people want to lose weight and they want to come from a consultation, they can come down and see me in the clinic or in one of the gyms. So I use the clinic for the private consultations and the nutritional medicine side of things, or functional medicine side of things, and the gym for rehab, conditioning and so on.
And if people want to kind of follow you you're on social media, Instagram, Facebook, that kind of thing?
I'm not actually. Me personally, I'm not. I made a decision not to be, but the company is. So the company is OSI Health on Instagram and on Facebook.
And that's where they can kind of find
That's where we have most of our content out there, and we're always interested in sharing stuff with the guys. We've got some young guys on the staff that are fairly proactive on that. I just do some videos and they post it randomly. You know?
Okay, good stuff. Oh, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure and an eye opener as well for me and for all of our listeners out there. And hopefully we can get you back on soon.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks a million for having me. Cheers.
Thanks very much.
If you'd like to get in touch with Eoin or the team at the ISI, you can contact them via their website at www.irishstrengthinstitute.com or follow the ISI on Instagram or Facebook at ISI Health. I'll also include links to the ISI in the show notes from this podcast at www.humanregenerationproject.com/Eoin Lacey. If you want to find out more about anything we discussed on today's show, you can get in touch at info@humanregenerationproject.com or contact us through Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode. Thanks for tuning in today and see you soon.